Imagine a 14-year-old boy standing at the top of a concrete half-pipe. His stomach is doing flips. He knows logically that he hasn't practiced this drop-in enough. He can almost hear his dad's voice in the back of his head saying, "Wear your helmet, take it slow." But his dad isn't there. 3 of his friends are. They're leaning on their boards, watching, waiting. They haven't said a word. They aren't even cheering. They're just present. And in that silence, the boy's brain makes a choice. He leans forward, drops in, and, more often than not, wipes out. We've all seen this. We've lived it. We've watched sensible, kind children turn into teenagers who seem to lose their peripheral vision for anyone over the age of 20. It looks like rebellion. It feels like a betrayal. But what's actually happening is one of the most misunderstood and beautiful handoffs in the human story. Why does the opinion of a kid who barely knows how to do their own laundry suddenly carry more weight than the advice of a parent who has been their rock for a decade? To understand the mystery, we have to look under the hood. Inside the teenage brain, there's a massive construction project underway. Specifically, we're looking at the reward system. There's a region called the ventral striatum. You can think of it as the brain's yes button. It's the part of us that hunts for dopamine, that feel-good chemical. Now, in a teenager, this yes button isn't just active, it's hypersensitive. It's dialed up to 11. But here's the fascinating part. It's specifically tuned to a very certain frequency. A few years ago, researchers put teenagers in a driving simulator. When these teens drove alone, they were actually pretty cautious. They took about the same amount of risks as a full-grown adult. But then, the researchers made one small change. They told the teens that their friends were watching them from the next room. The friends didn't say anything. They didn't egg them on. They just watched. The result? The teens' reward centers lit up like a Christmas tree. They started blowing through yellow lights and taking turns at high speeds. Just the presence of a peer acted like a chemical catalyst. It's as if the teenage brain calculates the value of a social reward, a nod, a laugh, a look of respect, as being more valuable than physical safety. Think of it like this. The teenage brain is a Ferrari with a high-performance engine, but the brakes of a golf cart. That engine is the reward system, fueled by social connection. The brakes? That's the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles long-term planning. And maybe this is a bad idea thinking. The engine is ready on day 1 of puberty. The brakes? They won't be fully installed until the mid-20s. But why? Why would nature design a brain that's so, risky? It's because, for most of human history, staying in the nest was a death sentence for the species. To survive, we had to leave the safety of our parents and find a new tribe. We had to learn to navigate the complex, often terrifying world of our peers, because one day, those peers would be the people we'd hunt with, build with, and rely on to keep us alive. The peer pressure we complain about is actually a high-speed training simulation. When a teen values a friend's opinion over a parent's, they aren't necessarily rejecting the parent. They are specializing in the world they are about to inherit. They are learning the currency of their own generation. There's a specific kind of social pain that happens in the teen years, too. To a teenager, being excluded from the group doesn't just feel sad. It feels like a physical threat. In our evolutionary past, being cast out of the group meant you were on your own against the elements. The brain treats a snub from a friend with the same urgency as a broken bone. So, when we see a teen doing something stupid to fit in, we're seeing a brain that is desperately trying to ensure its own social survival. This brings us to a bit of an aha moment. As parents or mentors, we often try to fight this by being right. We use logic. We point out the risks. We wonder why our words aren't landing. But we're speaking to the brakes. Their friends are speaking to the engine. Maybe the shift isn't about the teenager losing their way. Maybe it's about them finding their exit ramp. That painful distance we feel, the eye rolls, the closed doors, the sudden silence at dinner, it's the sound of the umbilical cord finally, fully stretching. It's not a bug in the system, it's the feature. The goal of childhood is protection, but the goal of adolescence is preparation. And you can't prepare for a world of peers while holding a parent's hand. So, the next time you see a group of teens doing something that makes no sense to you, remember, they aren't ignoring the voice of wisdom. They're just tuned into a different frequency, one that's screaming at them to find their place, to find their people, and to finally, nervously, drop in.